Are you living on autopilot and going through the motions? Let's get into it. Well, I hit the wrong button, so let's start over again.
Journey with Joan, the podcast that explores many paths of spirituality. Each week, we'll dive into the depths of spirituality, self-discovery, and personal journeys that help us connect our inner selves and the world around us. Welcome to Journey with Joan.
Good evening, and thank you for joining me tonight. I apologize for being late. Baseball went a little bit longer, and it's fitting with what we're talking about tonight, right? So the topic tonight is waking up to your life. Welcome to Journey with Joan. I'm your host, Joan Wyden, clairvoyant medium, Reiki master teacher, and energy coach. Thank you again. I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining me. All right. So waking up to your life. What is that all about? Well, what it's about is really being present enough to know that are you living on autopilot? Are you going through all the motions and just racing from task to task? As a human, as a person, that is what we do. We like to look for the most efficient ways to get through our tasks of the day, try to make sure everyone gets to wherever they need to get without, losing any hair or being too stressed out about things. So we try to make everything efficient, right? That's how our brains work. And when that happens, sometimes we lose sight of what life is, because life isn't about just doing tasks. It's not just about getting our children or friends or meeting people at certain times or even our jobs. It's not about our jobs and just blindly going the way we do. All right. So tonight we're going to say, how do we do that? How do we get off the autopilot? How do we allow ourselves to be taking more control of our life? And how we do that would be to wake up and kind of smell the coffee, but really like smell the roses. Wake up, start noticing all the different things that we have in our lives, right? Start allowing ourselves to have those moments. And so we could see and we can understand that there's more to everything than just racing, than just driving, than just doing our jobs that, that we are really good at. There's more to life. So if you are in the grind, right, let's hit pause a little bit on that. Now, I'm not saying you uproot everything and then you change your whole life, but it's minute changes that help you get out of that daily grind and, like Groundhog Day, right? Where it's like you get up, you have your shower, you go to work, you work all day, then you go, you're done. You get on the bus or you drive home, you have dinner, you sit down, maybe you read, maybe you scroll, maybe you watch a show, and then it's bedtime. And then you start over again, right? So let's take a pause on that and go, okay, well, what can we add to make our lives a little bit more spicier? Allow ourselves to be more in tune. Hello, Daryl. Thank you for joining me today. So that is how we get present. So some things would be, instead of, just putting your head down and working. And I understand that everyone has their perceptions on how their idiosyncrasies and how they like to do things. But maybe instead of just putting our heads down and just doing our thing while we're at work, we say hi to someone while we go to the washroom, right? Instead of just beelining it to the washroom, doing our business and going, or going to get our coffee and then gone, right? So when we go out, instead of just being, on autopilot or a robot and just going and doing our things, we say hello to someone, or we notice something and we look and see, okay, well, what's different about today, instead of just going and doing and not even noticing, right? So this also, which is interesting that I had chosen this topic for this week based on what happened in America yesterday. So again, life can be short, and your life could end really quickly without any notice. And as a spiritual light being more present in your day to day would make your life elevated, right? And your energy would be higher. And should you leave this earth unexpected, you would have done everything that you wanted to do, barring any sort of, like traveling. Maybe that's, but that's not a big deal, because when you're more present within yourself here, right now, you can, what's it called? I don't even know how to say, like, when you're more present, everything just feels more calm. You allow all that cortisol, stress to just relax and drop away. Okay. And so it's so hard for all of those things when we go on autopilot, and then we get stressed because the things that we do are not in order, or it doesn't go our way, or it's exhausting that one day because we just never had a great night's sleep, right? And so it's so hard for us to enjoy anything except for just be on autopilot. So again, how we do this also is we start to enjoy. So how would I say this? So for example, for me, I do a lot of driving because my kids are in lots of sports. And so I'm always here, there, and everywhere. And so to break that up, I have crafts that I do. So I like to crochet, right? So I bring my crochet. And then I also bring some books to read. But sometimes when you're at baseball, it's a social sport because there's other parents. And so I can't necessarily just pick up a book and read and ignore everyone, right? So I'll have my craft. I'll start doing my crochet. And then I will talk to people as I'm doing that. And so now it's not an everyday, so then it breaks up the autopilot, right? And it allows you to peer into society, because then you put your phone down. You're not scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and just allowing yourself to be absorbed by your phone and by social media. Because by social media, it also is really life draining, right? We are spiritual beings and we need to be connected. And when we're on our phones all the time and we just scroll, again, it's almost like become zombie like, and we don't know how to understand how to be because we're just engrossed in our phone. And someone might say something to you and you'll be like, what? And then you don't even, or you're half-assed listening because, again, that's part of the autopilot. Well, this is what I do. This is what I do when I get home for a first little bit, and you sit there and you just scroll, right? Not necessarily the greatest thing there is. And what else shall I say? It's be more involved, be more present, bring yourself back here. lighten up your presence, elevate your energy. When we check out, if you will, and we're in this autopilot, the term use it or lose it, it's the same thing. When we're on autopilot and we start checking out, it allows our brain to shut off. And again, you won't be aware of everything that's around you because you've shut off. It's almost like actually putting headphones in your ears and putting them on noise cancellation, and you doing something, but you have no clue of your surroundings. You don't know if someone's behind you that, is going to hurt you, or or you're in their way. All of those different things. Okay. So again, that's the problem with being on autopilot. We're just in our own bubble. And as we stay in our own bubble, it really disconnects us from our world and from being completely present within ourselves. And again, by being present allows us to see all the different opportunities that come to us on a day to day. Okay, so if we're on autopilot, we're kind of got blinders on and we don't see everything that's present around us. And again, I've said this before. There's a movie, it's Pete's Dragon, and the lady that found Pete in the woods, she's like, I've walked these woods for how many years and I've never once seen a child there. You would have thought that I should see this child, right? And Robert Redford, the father, says, just because you're there and you walk the woods doesn't mean that you're actually seeing everything that's around you, right? So that's the aha, that's the wow that's going on there. And so again, it's stop, take a deep breath, listen to the birds, listen to your surroundings. Take time to allow yourself to calm down or even catch a breath and allow yourself to feel alive. Feel that. And sometimes people don't want that, right? So waking up to our lives, sometimes we choose not to, because when we become more present, sometimes our stuff comes up and it starts to bubble up, and it reminds us of the things that we don't necessarily want to see. But when you're in that situation, I'm going to tell you, it's amazing, and you should celebrate that. And the reason why I say you should celebrate that, even though it feels yucky at the time, is because you're finally letting it go, right? Because if you can see it and honor it, not necessarily so, when it's there and it's heavy, it feels heavy on your heart, just see it, just witness it, and just let it be, right? And then if you need to say something to yourself, you could say, I survived that. I'm okay. Everything is okay. Take a deep breath, move the shoulders down, and just let it go. That's really what it wants it to do, because when we shove everything in our hearts, it allows us to be closed off. And when we're closed off, we're not necessarily present. So waking up to our lives is being right here, right now. And everyone's going to say, well, Joan, I am. What do you mean I'm not present? Well, did you notice someone walked beside you one time? No. Well, then you weren't fully present, right? So there's little things like that. So what I would suggest is, if you are on this autopilot, is, okay, today I'm going to notice 5 different things that I've not noticed in my day-to-day life, right? In my autopilot life. For example, I do readings and I use tarot cards sometimes. And if I were to, I don't use them often, but let's say, I would use them all day. Someone had asked me, right? I am going to be doing a psychic fair next week. And so I'll be traveling. But so then sometimes a lot of the clients will say to me, I want a tarot card reading. So I would do a tarot card reading and they're all the same, right? Like it's the same cards and they come up differently for everyone, right? And if I wasn't present and I just spewed out what just the card meanings meant, then I would not be living present. I wouldn't be awake to my life. And therefore, I wouldn't be present enough to give my client a proper reading. I wouldn't be involved enough to be able to give them the best that I could for them. Do you know what I mean? Because I was shut off. So when you are fully present, you are able to pick up all the things that are energetically around you. And sometimes people say, well, I don't necessarily want to have this stuff and like pick up all the energy around me. But that's not what I mean. Like some people say, well, like I can't go to the mall because it's a bit overwhelming. That's not what I'm trying to portray here. What I'm trying to say is when you're open to different energies that are for you and that are for you, that's helping the people around you, everything just opens up. Life is just different. Life changes and it becomes awe-inspiring. So let's see. If we were trying to see what else I can say, so when we're fully present, we can allow our bodies to relax. Our bodies start to listen to us. And then our heart and our minds become one. And they're not fighting each other. They're not trying to, get to each other and make us more stressed. And I just want to say, like, sometimes our hearts and our minds start to argue with each other, and not physically argue. It's more of when something tugs at our heart and it becomes a trigger, then our mind starts going, our thoughts, it might be thoughts, or it's just the voice in your head starts to say, stuff to help you and keep you safe. Excuse me. And when it tries to do that, it actually isn't very nice to yourself, right? And so everything is just crazy and it starts going off. And then it's like, no, I want to shut this off. I don't want to deal with it. And then our bodies have a different reaction. But once our hearts and our minds are together, it works with the body, amazing things happen. And everyone can do this. And really, it's about shutting off the phone for a little bit. It's about being present. Maybe, you're at home and you have a family and everyone's around you, but everyone's on their phones. Is that really visiting people? No, it's not, because you guys aren't talking. I've seen people, and sometimes, like, my family is, does these things. We are guilty of going out for dinner, and then everyone's phones come out, and then they start while we wait for our food. And I had said, hey, let's talk. We don't really see each other all the time, like as a family together. So then we have people, we have everyone put their stuff away. And it's amazing what some of the stuff that you can figure out, and some of the things my kids tell me that I had no clue of, that they kind of shared between the three of them and me not knowing. It is it is amazing what you can find and what you can be when you're fully present. Being fully present, again, it just opens up so much doors. It allows you to be more in love and exude love, and your energy rises and is there. It is, how can I say, it just emanates. And so when you go out, it attracts, right? So if someone's having a bad day or whatever, they might look at you like, hmm. And if you say hello, you could have just changed that person's day, right? So there's so much. And the cost of being on autopilot means we miss so much. And it allows us to just be and not even notice all the beautiful things, right? So when you're on autopilot, I really like just look for different things. Look for this, like look in the sky. What is different in the sky? Do you see birds? Do you see animals? Again, so I live out in the country, so when I'm driving, I actually have to be physically alert. And when I'm not, I can tell. And it's not necessarily the greatest thing because it shocks me if an animal runs across the street and my heart races and all those things, right? Because you don't necessarily want to run into a deer or a moose or a bear or whatever it is, right? So again, it's being fully present, enjoying and loving and being there. And sometimes it allows us to open to ourselves. It allows ourselves to go, well, what do I really love? Because I've been on autopilot and I haven't really been able to do things for me. And when we start to do that and we do things for ourselves, we start to be more calm. We start, like happiness starts within. And being on autopilot, some people are like, but I'm not unhappy, but I'm not happy, but I don't know what I am. And again, but that's not even really living, is what I'm trying to say, right? It's more of it's just being. It's just being there without really honestly being there. There is so much that you can do and be and show the world who you are when you really are fully present. And when we get out of that rat race and that cycle of autopilot, we know, because each day is filled with so much. And it doesn't necessarily have to be filled with going out or things to do. It just, you feel more grateful. And gratitude is there because you see all the different things and you can understand certain things. Also, when you're fully present, miscommunications are less as well, because everything, you listen, right? When you're fully present, you're able to fully listen to the other person, and the other person can talk and you can be engaged. Sometimes, again, I'm guilty because I'll go somewhere and someone will start talking and another thing across the room will catch my eye, and then I'll start dual listening. And that's not being fully present. And then that's not fair or okay for the other person. So they'll start asking me and they're like, what do you think? When that happens to me, I fully own it and I say, you know what? I I'm sorry. I missed what you said. Something caught my eye and I got distracted. And so I am unsure of what you just spoke of. Can you re-say it? And then they typically do. Some people get angry, but I own it. And they're like, I'm surprised you would actually just say it. I'm like, I can't just jump in there. I could if I wanted to, but I'd like to be as authentic as I can. So what you see is what you get. And so I like to do that. And it's honoring for that person. I want to be as honorable to that person as much as I can, because again, it's the divinity, right? So when we honor someone else, we're honoring the God within them. And when they honor us, they're honoring the God within us. Okay. And so again, living day to day, I encourage you to really sit and feel. And some of the practices that we can do to be more present is meditation. Again, some people don't really enjoy it, but a meditation doesn't have to be solemn, just like this. Meditate or like this, right? Meditation can be, even if you have an Apple Watch or because I know, or have any sort of, electronic watch. I'm sure every watch type has a app that says it's time to take a breath, right? And then it counts up and it does a 60 seconds, right? Breathing exercise, that is a meditation. That's all it takes. It's just about taking that time and loving yourself and going, okay, great. I can and then once you do that, you have a clearer mind and you can be more focused, and you're out there. It is so like enlightening, and it's in love. I love, for me, to be outside and to be with the trees. Right now it's a bit lots of mosquitoes because it rained a lot this summer, and so that's not my favorite. But I you start to focus on all the positive things, and then you let go of all the negative stuff and be more grateful, and you find that a lot of things just melt away because it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. So if there's any examples that you guys think, let me know in the comments, right? What's it called? The one thing that is also, I'm going to say, that's really amazing for being present is doors open for you. So many doors, so many other opportunities start to come, and they allow, and it's especially when you're present, because when you're out and about and you're thinking, I sure love to, what was the one that happened the other day? I believe I was going to a store, or was it a store? I'm just trying to think of the situation, but there was a time where I was like, okay, it'd sure be nice if I could get a deal on something, right? I don't really want to pay full price. Even 10% would be great, right? So I was being present. I was looking at everything and not even really thinking, right? I had thought that, and I went to go pay for something, and then someone's like, oh, there's a 10% coupon. You should use it. Do you know what I mean? Like and I know that sounds really trivial and it's like nothing, But when you do and you practice it more often, it could be 10% there. And it's not just monetary, it's all these different things, right? Like people notice you a little bit more. If you felt a little bit lonely because you felt like no one talks to you, I'm going to tell you more people will talk to you because your energy is more open, because it's more present. It allows you to be more there, right? So at work, let's say, for example, work. If you just go to your desk and you're at the grind and you're doing your desk, you go in and that's all you do. You go to the washroom, you have your lunch break, and then you go to the washroom again, and then you finish your work and then you leave. You're just churning things over, right? But if you actually lift your head up, take a deep breath sometime, and you listen to things around you, someone might need help and you have the answer, and then you assist, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this person actually cares about what's going on around them instead of just doing their daily grind. Does that make sense? And then the next day, you may not do it, but you see someone else and then you actually say hi to someone in the elevator, right? And then it just keeps going. Before you know it, someone goes, hey, there's a job opening on another division, which we think you would be great for because you have great attention to detail and people like you. And I put those in air quotes because it's none of your business what other people think of you. But in a job sense, it helps because it gets you seen, it gets you noticed. And then if there's a job promotion, they look to you. And that's what I mean by doors opening. Things just start, the cards just start getting laid out. And then voila, you're there. Just again, another example of that is playing chess. If you're not fully present and you're playing chess, you're going to lose. Unless the other person's not paying attention as well. But usually one is really paying attention and the other person isn't. And then it's like you're just moving just for the sake of moving. And then it's all of a sudden it's like checkmate. So do you see where I'm saying? Like there's things that you could miss out. And really in that chessboard, you were probably one move away to preventing the checkmate. So again, it's really being fully present. Even in the shower is another way to be fully present. Instead of just, going through the motions, washing your hair, you could change that up. Or you could take a deep breath and going, okay, I love this shower. The water feels so good, right? Because most times when we're in the shower, we just are like doing our business so we can get in, get out, get dressed, and get back to our autopilot daily grind life. But if you can enjoy that and go, okay, wow, this soap smells really good this time. Or I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. That's okay, right? It doesn't mean that everything has to be rainbows and sunshines all the time. But it's about noticing the different things. Or, hey, that sponge looks like I need to replace it. How long has it been like that? And you're just using it because you're, in that autopilot again. And water is great, especially when you have a shower. A lot of creativity and ideas come out of having a shower or even a bath. And the reason being is water is an energy mover, right? So water allows the energy to flow easier and to you. So if you close your eyes and you do a breathing exercise while you're in the shower, you could get an aha. And it's really all about just being fully present so you can pick up that energy of that aha. Because when we are on the autopilot, you're not going to see that because you're shut off to anything new that could come your way. Because right now it's like a racehorse, right? The racehorse, all they're not fully present because they're focused on that rabbit that's spinning around like in front of them, and all they are is they want to chase that thing and they want to get it. Do you see what I'm saying? And so when that happens, you're only going straight on one course and that's it, nothing else until it's done. And then next set of horses, the buzzer goes off, same thing, right? Life is more than just going to work, driving, and getting people places, or even just watching TV or getting up. Life is more, way more. And when you start to exude and be more present, you start to realize, what are some of the things that I truly love? And then you find that love. And I'm not just talking like a physical person or anything. It's an unconditional love that allows you to breathe contentment. But it's not contentment like, well, whatever, life is there, right? It's not that. It's a contentment, whereas I really am in love with what my life is and how it is, right? And things get shown to you, and it just allows new experiences. I implore you guys to try it. Even if it's not 5 things in a day for you to try and see that's different. Look for the different things. If you're outside and you live in the city, you're like, well, what am I going to see? It's a concrete jungle here. What do you mean things are different? Well, look for different sounds. What kind of sounds are there? Can you hear the pigeons? Because I bet you all you hear are like the LRT or the subway. That's all you hear. And you hear the shuffling of people and people kind of, laughing and talking in the background. Or maybe you don't even, because you got your headphones on and not even paying attention, right? When you're out, take the headphones off. Or if you still want to listen to something, that's okay. Put one in, but always be aware of your surroundings. Be fully present. Again, this is just like a day-to-day thing. It's be fully present, being right here, right now. If there's a movement, you will know because you're physically present here, right now. And the energetic side of it allows you to pick up. Is there danger? Yes. And if there is, then you can move. But if you have your blinders on, your headphones on noise cancellation, you're not going to pick up the energetic, the energetic phone call, the energies that are around you, because you're stuck in your bubble and in your own world, right? And unfortunately, it hasn't bode well for someone, right? For people in the past. And that's unfortunate. And it's disheartening, right? As light beings, when we're fully present and we allow and we exude, things just start to go away from us as well. So when you're fully present and you're going, okay, well, let me look, let's be more grateful. What am I grateful for here today? Okay, so I'm on the subway and it's jam-packed and I'm not loving it because I'm a tiny person, so I don't really like to be all squished and everything. Have a good night, Daryl. Thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate you. I'm sorry it was so late. Thank you. I don't like to be squished. So then when you're squished, it's hard to look for the good. So you go, okay, well, you know what? I'm here. I know I won't fall to the ground because it's tight. And you start to look for some good. And I'm going to tell you, when there's some people or things around you, because I've encountered that when I lived downtown, and I had my energy really small. I found some people would walk really close to me, and they were not necessarily, I could feel the energy it was malevolent. I can't say that right? So you could tell their energy was malicious, and I couldn't understand or know for sure if they were going to do something to me. So as soon as that, I felt that. So again, being fully present, then you can really, you look, you address, or, and then they start to just fade away and walk away, because they're like, oh, wait, this person is fully aware and they know. All of a sudden, you are not that person. And I'm not saying, then it goes to someone else. I'm not saying that, right? So it's just about being fully present, being fully aware, because then they also know, because your energy changes and their energy goes, whoa, nope, not there, right? Again, different doors always open for people that are fully present. Maybe you had a dream. Let's do this, because I've had these. You've had a dream and you're like, hey, I remember this. And in my dream, I was buying this. Okay, well, let's go buy this, right? And it's something that you really wanted to, and then it happens to be super on sale, right? There's all these different things. And I know I'm not doing a great job tonight, but that's neither here nor there. But again, it's just being fully present and loving what you are doing and who you are and around. And with that being said, I'm going to end there. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Thank you. I am completely grateful for all of you. Thank you again. Until next time, embrace what fuels the soul. Good night.